Question. Who is more cursed? The Carolina Panthers or the Charlotte Hornets? Carolina Panthers cursed by Steve Wilkes. The Charlotte Hornets cursed by James Borrego.
I'm going to still say the Hornets because the Hornets curse extends beyond James Borrego. They've been cursed since Alonzo Mourning went second and we didn't get Shaquille O'Neal. They've been cursed since we got MKG and didn't get Anthony Davis. They've been cursed for some really bad stuff that I mentioned.
I think they've been cursed since Bob Johnson brought the NBA back to Charlotte. Because after Alonzo Mourning was drafted, the Charlotte Hornets went to the playoffs 10 straight seasons.
Yeah.
10. A lot of people forget that. 10 straight years, the Charlotte Hornets were a playoff team. And one of those years, they was like really good, like contenders.
And they ran into Michael.
Jordan.
Right.
Whereas the Carolina Panthers, to be fair, even though they've never had back-to-back winning seasons, technically.
Damn sure won't be this season.
Nope. They've had a lot of success over the last 25 years. A lot of teams would love to have 3 NFC championships, 2 Super Bowl, 3 NFC championships appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances. They got a bunch of guys who are going to make the Hall of Fame. 12 division championships. But lately, the curse has been. I mean, here's what I think about the Panthers. We are paying for the sins of Jerry Richardson.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, we thought he was a great owner and everyone thought he was a good guy. We found out that he was a douchebag. He was forced to sell the team before his death, and he sold it to a guy who
is not a football guy.
Yeah.
Because everything you said about Jerry Richardson is true, but both things can be true at the same time. Jerry was way more of a football guy than Tepper is, I should say. Jerry Richardson played the game. Jerry Richardson was at least in sync with his general manager, at least.
Yeah.
Jerry Richardson let his GM do his job.
Players loved Jerry. They loved it. When every time Cam Newton talks about Jerry Richardson, it seems like he's about to start crying.
Right. Which is kind of surprising to me.
Surprising considering the news that came out about how Jerry Richardson interacted with Cam Newton when he drafted him. Told him couldn't get any tattoos and
all that stuff.
But Cam Newton, he loved Jerry Richardson.
Right.
Steve Smith loved Jerry. Everyone loved Jerry Richardson. Do you think anybody on the Carolina Panthers loves David Tepper? You think anybody gonna start crying when they talk about David Tepper? I mean, they might start crying, but for different
reasons. Yeah.
The Carolina Panthers played the Dallas Cowboys today in a loss that we expected. And thus, I don't really want to talk about the game. The reason being is if you've seen the Carolina Panthers play this season, you saw this game. You
saw this game.
You already saw this game.
You didn't have to watch this game today to see the game. Yeah.
In fact, I was doing other stuff while I was watching the game. I was, because I knew.
What's ironic about this game is that it was competitive for 3 quarters.
Yeah. They had a chance. Yeah.
2.5 quarters. It was competitive. And it wasn't embarrassing like I thought it was until it got embarrassing.
Yeah.
Then I heard a Kanye West song play in the third quarter when it all falls down. Yep. And it just fell apart.
Actually, I think it fell apart before that, but halftime kept the momentum stifled.
Right.
When the Cowboys scored right before the half ended, and they scored because the Panthers are the most undisciplined team in the league, that did the Panthers in. Because if you go into the half 10-3, and then you score in the third quarter like the Panthers did,
right.
Now it's a tie game. Now your game plan changes. But instead, the Cowboys go up 17-3 before the half.
Because of your stupid penalties.
Exactly.
Mainly.
Yeah, 2 dumb penalties. The first one, I'll give you a little bit of leeway.
I mean, it was listen. Let me say this: Xavier Woods has been in the league way too long to commit that kind of penalty in that spot.
Yeah.
However, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I think you give him a little pass because at least it's in the moment of trying to make a competitive play.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
We see that all the time where it's really hard to pull up at that speed in real time. Quarterback dives.
Right.
I actually don't like that call. I don't think a player should be able to give. I digress. That's completely different because stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
But that second penalty,
just can't do it. Sorry, dumb.
If I'm Frank Reich, I'm like you're done for the game.
You can't. You got to sit down.
Yeah. You can't play anymore.
Hey man, here's my hot take comment for the day. Stuff like that gets coaches fired. Seriously.
In fact, I mean, the fact that the Carolina Panthers are the most penalized team in the league, thus they are the most undisciplined.
It tells a lot of the story.
That is directly on the coaching staff.
Especially when you ultimately have the same team from last year who didn't have these issues last year.
I wonder what the difference could be.
What the difference could be. Amazing. What do we just I mean, I don't like I said,
I don't even want to talk that much about the game. I mean, it was just offensive MVP. Oh, by the way, just make a statue for Adam Thielen right now. Just make one for him and put that bitch outside the stadium.
And I want and next to him, I want one for Derek Brown because I don't think a lot of two.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like with this season's horrible.
Adam Thielen, 157 years old, giving his body up for what? For the worst team in the league. I mean, there's nothing he's going to get out of this.
DJ Chark should be ashamed of himself.
DJ Chark should be embarrassed.
Seriously.
How Adam Thielen gonna come in and just be the fifth best wide receiver in the league this year? How?
Come on, man. DJ Chark was sent here to be the guy that was going to take the top off the defense, the speed guy, the guy who was going to stretch the defense. He was that guy. We were all excited about him. And yet 39-year-old, I'm exaggerating, but Adam Thielen is probably the MVP of the offense this year.
Oh, definitely. Did DJ Chark play today?
Who cares?
I don't know. Fucking know.
I don't know.
Is he on the box score? Nope. Who cares?
Hey, look, listen.
Who the hell is Steven Sullivan? Who is Steven Sullivan?
No. The better question is, why is Steven Sullivan making catching the ball over the other three tight ends on the roster? That's the real question. Did you know Ian Thomas is still on the team? Did you know that?
Ian Thomas.
You should have saw the way you just looked at
Ian Thomas been on the team since 1993. When they announced it, he was on the team. I swear.
God.
Okay, Michael Parsons. You know, if you guys go back years, who did we want in the Panthers to pick the draft? Both of us. We said Michael Parsons.
And if you don't believe us, it's on tape.
It's on tape. Now I'm not mad at the J.C. Horn pick. J.C. Horn is a really, really good player.
But you cannot ignore the symmetry today. You can't.
Oh, no,
you can't ignore it.
I mean,
he's not here today, is he?
No, yeah.
And guess who wreaked havoc today? Can't ignore it.
Yeah, I mean,
and listen, not to cut you off, Kaiser, but we don't like talking in hindsight. Enough people do it, right? But you can't ignore it today.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. We got to talk about this.
What we got?
You cannot let the owner of the opponent team come out on your goddamn field and
Kaiser, will you fire me if I walk off and quit the
No, because I'm with you. Has that ever happened with any other team, any other franchise,
Kaiser,
in any other
Kaiser
professional sport?
Kaiser, I hope my buddy's watching today. My buddy Jamal C, he posted that on Facebook, and I thought it was a joke. I thought, like, he can't be serious right now. And then I went on Twitter.
I mean,
how excuse my language. How fucking tone deaf can you be to let that happen? Does Tepper not watch TV? Does he not watch the news? Does he not know?
So I know the NFL owners are like the good old boys club and they're all buddy, but there's no way I'm letting another team announce that
they're going to honor their guy.
No. You do that at your you got $1 billion stadium, Jerry Jones. You go do that there. Just because the crowd is 75% Cowboys fans today, I don't give a no.
Kaiser.
That might be the most
tone deaf. That's
David Tepper has done a lot of stuff.
That is by far the dumbest.
Yes,
that's by far.
That's the most insulting to fans. That's insulting.
Kaiser.
You don't that lets me know you don't give a damn about
every single damn game. Home game is an away game already.
You practicing silent counts for a home game?
Tepper has to hear that. He has to know. Has Tepper got to the point where he's like, well, Charlotte ain't coming to the games anymore. I might as well accommodate the visiting fans now. Is it that bad? Have we got to that point now?
I think so.
We have to, right? If you're doing, I'm sorry, so loud.
No, I'm with you there.
That is so egregious. I can't even.
Maybe we should have let Cass march on Man Street.
I respect that more. I respect that. Oh my God.
Also, is Nicole Tepper on the payroll? I don't like to talk about another man's wife.
Yeah, I think that this is an exception.
But I'm gonna make an
exception can be made.
And I understand that he's the owner, so she's kind of the owner. You know how it is. You know what I'm saying? If you own something, your wife owns it too, right?
That don't mean you got to make.
But why are you at the offensive line practice?
What do you?
Obviously, the shit didn't work this week. In fact, they look worse. Imagine you're a player. Imagine you worked your whole life to get into the NFL, and you make it to the Carolina Panthers, right. and you're not even that good. You know, you're like, man,
I'm a fringe guy. At best.
Like, man, I gotta work hard, man. We're terrible,
right? And you look over, and the owner's wife
sitting there like this, with her. Probably got some sunglasses and a Panthers cap on, like she coach,
looking like a soccer mom.
I would immediately be like, my ACL, I think it's done for the season. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, because you see what's gonna happen.
No one wants to play for that. That's why we got all these mysterious injuries on the Panthers. Right. If somebody wants to I wouldn't.
I'm gonna repeat this again, man. I had a really good source, and I'm not gonna name names, that told me there are some guys on the Panthers that are hurt, that are that are about 95% that could go out there who just choose to say, nah, I'm not going out there. For what?
Yeah. What? I wouldn't.
You can take a guess who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say it.
I don't blame them.
Yep.
If I'm Bryce Young, I'm getting at everybody.
You should.
I'm starting fights in the locker room.
Yeah, at this point,
I'm Steve Smith. I'm putting Cass in the hospital. He only 5'9" and 180, so he might have to get somebody else to do it for him. But you know what? Steve Smith was a small dude too. He was knocking Cass out in the locker room, and he went to the Super Bowl. So I'm just saying,
if you can't win the game, win the fight.
You gotta do. This team has to do something because
it's the same thing every single week.
And here's what this is the worst thing about this season. Next season.
Right.
Because
it doesn't get better.
It's not going to get better next season.
Right.
In fact, it's going to get worse.
There is only one glimmer of hope for next season. I do mean a small little glimmer, is that they have some cap space to go get free agents. That is it. That's it. But who's to say they can pull that off now?
And free agency in the NFL is tricky. Yeah, and it's not as effective as it is in the NBA. So
Absolutely.
So unless you can get, and here's the thing, there's like not one offensive lineman that they're gonna get who's gonna fix
change
this
the fortune
shit.
of this, man.
The Panthers are gonna be bad for a long time, and unfortunately, they're gonna tie those failures to Bryce Young.
Right. which is so unfair.
Which is very unfair to him. And really, the failing should be on ownership, not for picking Bryce Young.
Oh, I meant to say this last week. I wish I could cite the writer of this article, and maybe I'll pull it up in a second. The headline was the most etherist headline I've ever seen, bro, and it's so true. The writer of this headline said the Panthers are a fish rotting from the head, who is David Tepper.
Yep.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
Nothing has
right
from when he took over the team. Nothing. I've said this on the show before. The Panthers were a playoff team the year he took them over.
Yep.
Cam Newton, CMC, DJ Moore, they went to the playoffs with Cam Newton's bum shoulder, surgically repaired shoulder.
Right.
They lost to the Saints in the divisional round. The next season, they start the season 6-2. Cam Newton gets hit on a dirty play. I'll still always feel that was a dirty play.
Same.
Messes his shoulder up forever. The Panthers go on a slide. David Tepper freaks out.
Changes everything.
Blows the whole team up. And we've been bad ever since. Fires Ron Rivera, cuts Cam Newton, hires Matt Rule, and goes to the city of Rock Hill, even though Charlotte was like, hey, you can build the new headquarters here. Hey, you can build it on the old Eastern Mall site.
Nah. Let me go try to rob these
let me try and get
Hill.
South Carolina's money and Rock Hill's money. Get them all excited.
Right. Let me go exploit these people in Rock Hill. Yeah.
Well, that didn't work out.
Yep.
I don't.
Hedge fund babies.
Yes. Charlotte Hornets fans.
Watch out, Hornets. Watch.
Ike Ekwonu. We talk about you every week. I'd like to talk about him in a different context every week, but that's not.
I want to hear this.
No, I don't understand. I don't know enough about the nuances of playing offensive line, particularly left tackle, to understand why he went from being...
He regressed so badly.
Yeah, why he went from being so promising to being bad. Now, I do know the sophomore slump is real in sports.
Right.
Because teams have film on you now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
So maybe now teams have film and they're like, look how easy it is to beat him with this move.
Right.
Or with this formation. And I think that's what teams are doing. And the coaching staff should be taking them aside in the film room and saying, hey, look how they're beating you on this every time. Either that's not happening or he's not able to execute. And I don't know which it is.
Let me tell you what makes it more puzzling. The Panthers offensive line coach, who is James Campen, he is widely regarded as one of the best. He's been at it for a decade plus. You hear me? So it's even more puzzling that you have that kind of leadership and guidance and you're regressing that much. So that lets you know there's something going on with Icky. Gotta be.
But that's a good point. But it makes you wonder. Tepper, as far as the staff, I don't think he's made terrible moves. I think that's a good move.
At least on paper.
On paper.
Right.
But something's not working. And I think twice he's hit the panic button.
Mm-hmm.
He hit the panic button and didn't know how to reset.
Right.
Once with Ron Rivera, Cam Newton, that era.
Right.
Okay, it's time for something different. Was it really, though? We went from being a playoff team in the divisional round to starting off 6-2 and then failing because of Cam's shoulder injury. That's enough to blow the team up. And then you decide to eject Matt Rule, which was the right choice. But then instead of realizing, I think I might have something good here with Steve Wilkes and Deontay Foreman and in Baker Mayfield, just jettison everybody. And that's bringing a new coaching staff. And boy, we got a dream team coaching staff.
Because I'm not trying to be repetitive, but what did I say about new owners? I mean, and relatively speaking, he's a new owner. Relatively speaking, right? Hey, man, I got to put my stamp on this organization.
Right, yeah.
And again, the optics of an owner making all these moves, it looks so great, right?
Great.
Were we not all excited about the all-star coaching staff and all these moves he was making? Like, yeah, our owner cares. Dude, it's not always the best thing to do. Continuity in team sports matters.
I wonder if he could probably sell the Panthers for a profit right now.
That's where you.
He could. I mean, he's on it, 5, almost 6 years.
Right.
He paid $2.5 billion for it. He could probably sell it for $3.5.
I don't think his ego is gonna let him sell right now, man. He come on, man. In my opinion, he wants to get this right under his tutelage. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, how long is it gonna take, bro?
Well, okay. I think this is a good segue into another conversation because he's not gonna blame himself. So who's the next fall guy or the next two fall guys?
First of all, Scott Fitterer has to go.
Dude.
Even if it's not totally his fault, he's gonna have to fall on this sword.
He has to.
He's gotta go.
You traded away DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, your first round pick for next year to be 1-9. That is a disaster, and nobody should be able to keep their job after that. Simple as that.
Yeah, his wife not gonna let him sell.
Right.
Remember when? Yeah, we should have let Puff Daddy. Actually, we shouldn't have let Puff Daddy. With the news that just came out.
Bad.
But Steph Curry, we should have let Steph Curry buy the team when he wanted to buy it. Steph Curry would be a better owner than David Tepper. I just don't know. Yeah, maybe Tepper was sent to destroy us. Drell did say that he just wants to make sure we're worse than the Steelers. Maybe that's
that it is.
Maybe that's the plan.
Hey, great job. Great job.
No, I think he truly believes that he's making the right moves. The fact that we haven't had a real GM since I know Scott Fitterer is the GM, but
we've always questioned. Really the GM?
To the point where it's a joke, but truth and jest. Who's really the GM? Is it Tepper? Is it Fitterer? Is it the guy? The guy that does the cap space stuff?
Yeah, it might be Nicole Tepper for all we know.
Yeah, she's probably in the war room on draft night.
With that, it sounds like you're joking, but
no, she's not.
It probably is. Yeah,
she's sitting. She's got she got her draft board. Guys, well, what do you think about J.C. Horn instead of Michael Parsons? His dreadlocks look nice, or whatever.
What do you think about this guy, Chuba Hubbard? I like the name Chuba.
Chuba's good.
Chuba's good.
Good. Yeah, good pick, honey. Put that on the board. I don't know, man. It sucks because the Panthers, even though in the near 30 years of existence, they've never had back-to-back winning records. They've never been this bad for this long of a time.
Right. Never. Because the bad years was always followed up by good or great.
Really good years.
Right.
The last time they were this bad was before Cam Newton came. They were 1-14 or 2-14.
Yeah.
Cam came along and they missed the playoffs the next 2 seasons.
But
so 3 seasons they were bad, but there was promise there.
Right.
They drafted Luke Kuechly the next year,
yep.
And you knew they might be good. And then bam, they make the playoffs. They win the division 3 times in a row, and then they make a Super Bowl appearance. There's none of that on the horizon for the Panthers
Anywhere.
Even with Bryce Young. I don't care if Bryce Young ends up being Tom Brady 2.0 next year. There's not enough there for the Panthers to be good in a short amount of time.
And look, and even with the defense, the defense is the better side of the ball. It ain't good enough. It still ain't good enough, man.
Still missing a lot of pieces.
Speaking of which, I'm very disappointed with the secondary of today's game, man, because just like Dante Jackson, man, we call him boom or bust. He was so bust today, and we needed him the most because J.C. Horn hadn't got back yet. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just like the stupid penalties.
Dante Jackson is no longer a starting corner in the NFL. He wouldn't start on 2/3 of the teams in the league.
But somehow we paid him like a number 2 guy and trusted him to be the number 2 guy.
He had the tools.
After we let Stephon Gilmore go. Yeah. Let's be clear about that. Yeah.
He had the potential. Dante Jackson, very good athleticism, and that allowed him to play on the outside. But that athleticism wanes,
anymore,
and he's injuries have accelerated, his athletic decline. He's just not the same player. At one time, we thought he was going to be the next Josh Norman.
Right.
He had that kind of
Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that didn't come to be, but he ended up being a solid corner. Now he's not even that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to target anyone on the Panther secondary. You just throw it whoever.
Anyway,
like,
it don't matter. They're all the same. Yeah.
If they don't, it's going to be a penalty or a catch.
So somebody on the broadcast was saying, like, when Dante Jackson went out, they're like, well, the Panthers can't afford any more injuries in the secondary. And I said, it doesn't matter. Like, they're all the same at this point.
Don't remind us, North Sea fella.
What's that? What
Stephon Gilmore and Hassan Reddick were both on this team.
Yep.
Just think, we had Stephon Gilmore, Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Hassan Reddick, Brian Burns,
Deontay
Foreman, Chuba Hubbard. What happened?
Oh my God, man. Add Frankie Louvu to the mix of those players you just mentioned.
Derrick Brown.
Think about the team we could have
Shaq
had.
Thompson.
Right now. Think about the team we could have had, man.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know anymore, bro. I don't know. And you know what's really going to sting? Kaz, you know what's really going to sting? Next offseason when Frankie Louvu signs with the 49ers or the Eagles or somebody. You know what I mean?
Because the report came out that the Panthers are going to franchise tag Brian Burns,
right,
which is the right thing to do.
Right.
And then they're probably going to try and pay Frankie Louvu to get him to stay. But why would you
why would you stay on this team? Why?
When you could go to San Francisco. Oh, boy, San Francisco, he fits right in with what they do.
Yep.
Hell, he could go to the Dallas Cowboys and be
There's a lot of places
dominant.
He could go.
Philly?
There are 29 other teams that would line up to get Frankie Louvu right now.
You think Philly, Dallas, or San Francisco
please, man,
wouldn't back the Brinks truck up for Frankie Louvu?
Somebody is.
In fact, Frankie Louvu, I know you don't watch our little YouTube show, but bro, get the bag.
Go get your money, man. Go be great, man.
Go
be great.
I don't care how much Nicole Tepper offers you in the office.
Go be great.
But just go
be great, man.
Go team up with McCaffrey
and win that Super Bowl.
Yep. Go play for C. Wilkes again.
Charlotte sports is in a dark place, man. Or at least I'm in a dark place with Charlotte.
I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say about the Panthers. They're just.
What do our listeners, our followers have to say?
I mean, we're preaching to the choir here with those guys. I mean, I think we all agree that David Tepper is. Yes, Tepper thought he could come in and just throw money at the club to win. I mean, that's such a great point because a lot of new owners feel like
that's all I have to do.
Right. The previous and we'll talk about the Hornets here in a minute. But when the new owners came in, a lot of people assume, well, they're going to spend money that Jordan wouldn't,
which is so far from the God,
Jordan
man.
Not spending money is the laziest take in Charlotte sports. Michael Jordan, if anything, his fault was that he spent too much money
on the wrong players.
Right. So the idea that new owners are going to come in and just spend money and make the team better is ridiculous. And Tepper, I think you're right. He thought he could do that.
Right.
And
we say it all the time, man. Real life sports is not video games. This is not how it works, man.
Yes. Tepper even fired on winning. I don't understand. We don't talk about Charlotte FC on this show. Probably not enough.
Right.
I don't understand the politics behind that move.
Right.
In your second season, you make the playoffs.
In your second overall season
ever, you make the playoffs.
You have positive. This is after a player died. Okay.
Yes.
This is after a tumultuous offseason with Charlotte FC. You make the playoffs.
And you made the playoffs by beating Lionel Messi.
We can't make this up, man.
And then you fired
the dude. If y'all have,
did Charlotte FC hire a new coach yet?
No. Who's gonna line up to want that job right now?
Maybe he thinks he can get someone from Premier League or one of the South American leagues or something.
He'll probably overpay a college soccer coach, man, and not win 2 matches next year. But whatever, man. Let me go ahead and ask you, how many more games are the Panthers winning this season?
Okay, let's look at the schedule. I mean, I know the answer. You know the answer. We all know the answer. So here's the season finishes out with Titans, Bucks, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Jags, and Bucks in the season. Divisional games are winnable. No matter, I'll say that. No matter, because the division still isn't really that strong. And you know how division games are. You could be the worst team in the league, and then division games are tough because you play those opponents twice a year. So those are all winnable games. Right. I'm not sure they would win those, but they could beat the Falcons, the Saints, or the Bucks. Jags they won't beat. Trevor Lawrence is just going to pick on whoever he wants.
Right.
That's a loss.
Right.
Packers, Jordan Love looked really good today.
Yeah.
And he's going to look really good in Charlotte when they come to play us. That's a win for them.
It will also be a Green Bay home game as well.
Oh, definitely. They might beat the Titans. The Titans aren't that great. Yeah, they got Ryan Tannehill.
I agree. However, they can exploit a weakness that the Panthers have because that machine.
Oh yeah,
that they have it running back.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so they're gonna win. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna say the Panthers win 2 more games this season.
I'm with you, and let me be clear: 2 is on the optimistic side.
Yeah,
of me.
Definitely. And they might beat the Bucks in week 18
only because the Bucks are just going to be checked out.
Right, they're going to checked out. Yeah. Either the game won't mean anything because
what's crazy to say, the Bucks might have the division wrapped up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane to say right now.
So that's
listen. This is probably fan Jamal talking. I'm not going to lie. There's just something. There's a part of me that just says we got to beat the Falcons at home. And we just can't lose to them twice because they're not that good. I'm sorry, man.
I mean, they're 4-6. They got a quarterback problem as well. I think Bryce Young is better than Desmond Ridder
by far. Who is he still benched? Yeah,
I don't even know. I think Taylor Heineke was their quarterback for a time. So. Yeah, I could see that. So I'm going to say they beat the Falcons, and then they beat the Bucks in week 18. The Saints are tricky because the Saints did not look good against the Panthers last time they played.
Right, and that was a very winnable game.
Yeah,
man.
But at this point in the season, the Saints might have some
momentum.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man.
Yeah, like I said, the optimistic side of me says 2 more wins this season, man.
Yeah, 3 wins is very...
And I think you agree. It wouldn't surprise you if they don't win any more games.
By the way, the Saints are the only team in the division no team in the division has a winning record. The Saints are 5-5. That's sad. This was our chance. We said this last season. The Panthers have a real chance to win the NFC South because the NFC South
is so terrible.
Is garbage.
Right. And now that's out the window.
Terrible.
It's crazy that we're not mathematically eliminated.
What's crazy? They still have a chance to win the division.
That's really crazy.
That's dumb. I hate football. I hate the NFL.
You ready to move on?
Yeah, let's talk about this other
God.
The other cursed franchise.
Yeah.
So James Borrego came to the Hornets and specifically for the purpose of player development. James Borrego and Jay Triano were known throughout the NBA as being 2 of the top guys when it came to player development. And the biggest knock on the Charlotte Hornets during the entire Jordan tenure
was player development.
Player development.
And drafting.
Yep, drafting, player development. We don't draft the right guys, we don't develop the right guys.
Right.
So they brought in a player development guy. And it took 4 seasons. 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But finally...
the momentum was building.
Yep. The Charlotte Hornets get the first winning record in, 5 years?
Yep.
Now, they didn't make the playoffs because the referees gave Kyle Lowry a 3-pointer he didn't deserve. Yes, that's the butterfly effect. If we beat Miami in that game,
we don't play a play.
They don't play a playing game. They're the 6th seed outright.
Yep.
But I digress. They play a playing game and they lose pretty badly.
Yep.
To the Hawks.
Yep.
And they fired James Borrego. Then they say, well, you know what? We're going to bring in Kenny Atkinson.
Hey.
Okay, all right.
Who's not excited about that?
All right, we weren't happy about the Borrego firing, but Kenny Atkinson.
Hey,
that's a
kudos.
Right. And we felt like he got a raw deal in Brooklyn too.
Right,
so
right.
All right, and he was pretty good with the Nets.
Then he says, you know what?
You know what?
Nah.
I'm gonna stay with Golden State.
Spend time, yeah.
And win another championship.
Right.
Because he did.
Yeah.
So
and then we talked to Mike D'Antoni. He was
who
like,
said, no, you wanted Kenny.
Right.
Because you talked to me first, but then you went to Kenny.
No, thank you.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
You. Yep.
Who we gonna call somebody?
Who's around? Who's not doing anything right now?
Hey,
hold on.
Steve?
Hey, Steve?
Hey, big head. What you doing? So we hired Steve Clifford. Now, the Hornets have been a roller coaster since then. There have been moments where they look like, wow, this is going to be a good team.
This team can really play. This is a talented team.
Yes.
Steve Clifford's excited about the talent on this team, which we were too.
And then there's some games where it's like, what
the hell is this team?
Now, last season, which was Clifford's first season with the team, injury plagued.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a talented team, a pretty good team, actually, but they had too many key injuries. Melo Ball, Gordon Hayward, of course. Terry Rozier missed a lot of time. Kelly Oubre missed a lot of time.
Miles Bridges doesn't play at all.
Miles Bridges missed the whole season.
Missed the whole season. They never had a full team. Not one time. So you give them a pass last season.
I give them a little bit of pass. So coming into this season, we thought
we're excited.
Yeah, we're pretty excited.
Yep.
Hornets 3-8.
How do we get here?
I'll tell you exactly. Exactly. We all know the answer. Defense. If you cannot, if you cannot shoot the three,
and if you can't defend the three,
you will not win a game in the NBA. You have to either shoot the three really well or defend the three. You have to do one of those or both, preferably those things.
Before we go any further, guys who are watching, anybody there watching, if you're bored enough, go to every game this season and look at team stats. Look at the amount of makes and attempts by the opposing team and compare it to the Hornets. Every single game. There's your answer why we have the record we do. Now there's more context to that, but that is the main reason we have the record we do.
We got really excited when we saw last season Mark Williams and Nick Richards
blossom.
Yeah, ascend to being solid at worst NBA centers. I think Mark Williams is going to be really good.
Yeah.
Nick Richards will end up being a solid enough backup. I think that's his ceiling.
Yeah.
But they both offer something that we hadn't had in a long time, and that was perimeter scoring and protection. Okay. Although the Hornets were in the top 7 in inside scoring, even when they had Mason Plumlee, but they were never able to defend the paint until Mark Williams stepped into the starting lineup. Right. And so this year, that is the case. Teams do not score in the paint as much against us.
People actually fear Mark Williams.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now the problem is that they're like, well,
you don't have to go inside.
Yeah. LaMelo's not going to.
So somebody's open in the corner because somebody's rotating on the point guard who gets in the lane anytime they want to.
Plus, if other teams' guards are just going to blow by our perimeter defenders, they don't even have to deal with Mark or Nick in the paint.
Because they can just pass it out every time.
Pass out to shoot, which is what's happening.
Now, here's another thing. And listen, I'm going to be repetitive and I'm going to keep saying this, man, but I truly believe it, man. Mitch Kupchak got to catch heat for one thing this offseason. Not re-signing Kelly Oubre and Dennis Smith Jr. We are severely missing those dudes. You hear me?
I've been a Mitch defender.
Same. But yeah, can't defend that one.
Can defend that one.
Nope.
Those are two massive blunders. Not re-signing Kelly Oubre when you could have got him for dirt cheap. I gotta think that he wanted too much because that was a career season for Kelly Oubre.
Right. 20 points a game off the bench.
And so he probably thought, hey, I need to make at least 20 mil.
But listen, this may neither be here nor there, but it's puzzling that he signed for so little with the 76ers.
I think he didn't have any other choice, though.
Yeah, at that point.
He was only free agent on the market. Plus, you sign Brandon Miller, that makes Oubre kind of redundant.
Okay, now, I am glad you mentioned that, Kaza. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong because I actually said the same thing, but let's talk in hindsight just a bit here, okay? All right. We don't know what's going on with Cody Martin. We don't know if the dude needs to damn retire tomorrow, as far as we know.
I think Cody Martin done in the NBA, but
listen, but here's what I'm getting at. Okay, maybe the reasoning not re-signing Kelly Oubre, maybe the thought process was, you know what? Well, Brandon, we ultimately need minutes for Brandon Miller. We can't get rid of Hayward. Okay, so we're going to have this log jam at 3. We got Cody Martin coming in, so he's the backup too. So we can't, Kelly Oubre may not fit anywhere. But now that you don't know what the hell is happening with Cody Martin, imagine Kelly Oubre and Brandon Miller coming off your bench together.
With DSJ
at point.
Although,
what do I know, man?
There will be no more Ish Smith slander in the Hornets Facebook group. Ish Smith has played really, really well.
At 35 years old, by the way.
But the thing is, I don't see him coming back next season.
Right. Why would he? He barely came back this season.
Yeah, so what are you going to do
going forward?
You got to do something. You got to shore up that backup.
I think we all agree Tayon Maladon cannot be the backup point guard going forward.
No,
I think we all agree there.
Yeah, if the Hornets come out fast winning, I actually hate when the Hornets have fast starts.
Because you know it's going to happen.
We know it's going to happen.
Yep.
It's like watching a horror movie play out. You just know it. We're going to start taking bad shots.
Because they lose focus.
Yeah.
Bad shots, turnovers, lack of attention to detail on defense.
That's not necessarily on the coaches. We need someone on the floor who is going to hold other players accountable for doing dumb shit. But the thing is, our main guy is the one doing the dumb shit.
Is the one who's doing the dumb shit. Let me speak to your point. I'm going to speak to your point. I forget which game it was, man. But at the post game presser, Steve Clifford said, "You know what? These guys should know what they need to do at this point, right?" So I'm thinking to myself, like, well, damn, if Steve Clifford is exasperated in game 8 and the guys aren't listening to you, what's going on, man? Like, to your point. If the coach is not getting through to you, then yeah, you need that guy to yell at you on the floor.
Yeah.
And again, to your point, when $250 million man is the main guy making the plays that are not winning basketball plays, there's a problem, man.
Remember when Bronx Kimba would come out?
Right.
Screaming, what the fuck is the help?
Right. That guy.
Screaming at guys.
We don't have that.
We don't have
that
guy.
We don't have this team. Listen, and to be objective and to be fair, I don't want to place all the blame on a 22-year-old kid.
No.
Because PJ Washington and Gordon Hayward cannot go 1 for 15 and expect the Hornets to win.
Somebody on the team got to go to those guys and be like, yo, what are you doing, PJ?
Hello.
Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr in the face. and they won 3 championships together.
Udonis Haslem was about to fight a teammate on the bench last year.
Yes.
Because they wouldn't focus.
You got to have somebody. I thought Terry would be that guy, but Terry's in street clothes right now. So.
Right.
But somebody has to hold the team accountable on the floor.
Hey, real quick, for those out there watching, Kaz, let me know if y'all agree with this or not. I still don't think the Hornets have a talent problem. I just don't.
No, absolutely not.
Because when I see them play at their best, they can compete with anybody. Yeah. But what this team just lacks is how to win in the small details to win games. Do y'all agree with that or not? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I like who just said something like that in the chat, that lack of attention to defensive details. Soft and lazy on the defensive end.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Right.
That's exactly it. Yes, B. Miller could be that guy. I think you're right. I think Brandon Miller might. He's a rookie, so he's not going to be that guy right now.
But I think he will be.
Anyone who's willing to talk shit to Michael Jordan, but before you get drafted, that's going to be your guy. And he does seem like
he looks like he plays with a competitive edge.
Yeah,
man. He's one of the few defenders on the team, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a difference when he's on the floor defensively, and when he's not. I think he could be that guy
right.
who got that dog in him.
Yeah.
By the way, let's talk about Brandon Miller. Who we giving credit for this? Because here's the thing.
If you're gonna blame the guy for stuff, give him credit when they do right.
I remember people mad. This was Michael Jordan's last big fuck up before he sold the team.
You know Michael the one picked him.
Michael did it.
Michael did it.
I'm gonna assume that nobody in the chat was booing at the draft party. All right, so I'm not.
None of y'all were there,
right? Yeah.
Me and Kaiser were there.
We was there. We saw 9,999 people
walk out at the same time, booing. Yeah,
booing.
Yeah.
Scoot Henderson. People already call him a bust. I'm not ready to call Scoot a bust,
which is also insane.
Yeah, he's only played 5 games and he's injured. But at the same time, boy, Miller looks like that was the right pick. Right.
Miller looks like the real deal, man.
Right,
and he looks like he's getting better every game. Man.
Here's what impresses me about him. When he gets inserted into the starting lineup, he's asked to play the 2, something that he never really has done.
Right,
and he played terrible for 2 games. Since then,
dude.
First of all, the first game against New York a week and a half ago,
he was about to drop 40.
He looked like
until he
hurt his ankle. Then he comes back, and you notice the Knicks did not want that Jalen Brunson Brandon Miller matchup.
Right,
they did not.
It didn't matter.
Yep, they were trying everything to switch that on both ends of the floor.
Right,
and Brandon Miller was. Remember, people was like, okay, so he's not an NBA 3-point shooter. Well, he done figured that out.
Yep.
The guy he try and dunk on everybody. If you there, if you in the way,
he gonna catch one.
You might
catch
He's
one.
Gonna get somebody one day.
Yep.
It might be Wembanyama. Boy, I hope it's Wembanyama.
Oh God. The internet is going to just
here's the thing. He got Wemby in Summer League with the crossover, took his ankles. ESPN tried to act like it didn't happen, but we saw it.
Right.
I saw it.
I'm excited about Brandon Miller.
I like Brandon Miller.
I like him a lot.
We talked about this before.
One more point about Brandon Miller that I like, man, because this is a Hornets problem.
Mm-hmm.
When the shots are not falling on that end, Brandon Miller still plays defense.
Right.
I can't say that about the other guys.
Yeah. We talked about this before we went on air. Your starting lineup should be Miles, Miller, Mark,
Terry, and
LaMelo. That should be your starting 5.
Right.
Send PJ and Gordon to the bench.
Let me say something about Gordon real quick, man. I know Hornets fans just hate Gordon so much because of the money he makes and he doesn't play and he's always hurt, blah, blah, blah. But coming into this season, up until maybe 2 games ago, let me remind fans he was averaging 17 a game off 50% shooting. You understand? And here, I think Gordon Hayward hears how much fans say, oh, he doesn't play, oh, he's always hurt. And I think he's out there when he shouldn't be right now.
You're right.
I think he's still hurt and he just doesn't want to sit. Hey, Gordon, I know you don't watch Under Construction, but if you watch it, man, hey, I understand, bro. You're 34, 35 years old.
Yeah.
If you need to sit, man, the hell with that, man.
He was playing really well.
He was playing well. That's what I'm saying.
Whatever mystery injury happened.
Right, hamstring apparently.
Right.
Yeah,
so, which, that's a tough injury for a basketball player.
I've had a hamstring injury. Ain't no joke, man.
So, but, it's okay, Gordon. You're going to get traded to L.A. or Philly or somebody, and you're going to be fine.
It's okay.
Just chill out.
Just chill out, man.
Chill out. Him and PJ got to go to the bench when
Terry
gets back.
Ain't no excuse for PJ as far as I'm concerned. I don't give PJ a pass on this. He's playing awful.
I don't understand it.
He started
off playing so well, though.
I don't get it, man. He's so. I share the frustrations with Hornets fans with his inconsistency. Like I'm pretty sick of it, quite honestly, and I just don't get why he's like that. He better drop 40 tomorrow,
but see, that's the most PJ thing, right?
Right. Exactly, right.
For him to show out and then not show. But see, that's why he's got to go to the bench because that's what bench players.
That's what they
that's
do.
Like
that's why they don't start.
Right. That's like what Malik Monk is doing for Sacramento.
Right.
What he couldn't do for us.
Right.
What he doing for Sacramento.
Right.
Like, okay, you're average, mediocre some games,
right.
but then you have that one game where I mean, even one of the greatest Hornets of all time, Del Curry. That's why Del Curry didn't start. Although I think Del Curry might have been able to start in today's NBA because he was such a good shooter.
Yeah.
But Del Curry wasn't inconsistent, but the thing was he could explode at times and get hot. And that's why he was a bench player. That's what your bench players are for. Right. Send PJ to the bench. Brandon Miller is ready to start in the NBA.
He is, man. He is. I agree. I've held out long enough. I'm on the start.
We haven't even talked about the games because I mean, since the last time you saw us, they lost to New York the last time we went on, and they lost to Miami in that was a really tough game. PJ Washington played well that game, 32 points. But then Milwaukee, boy, they just beat the brakes off.
But the Milwaukee game was kind of like it was kind of like the Panthers game today. Like it was close for 3 quarters. And
the problem is that NBA is a game of runs, right?
Right.
Milwaukee went on a run, and we never went on a run of our own.
Right.
They just started shooting the lights out.
And here's my hot take for that game. That game, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, y'all. I know that game wasn't the same when Nick Richards went out. You remember Nick Richards got hurt that game?
That's true. Well, because now you have to have PJ come in and play small ball,
right? Which we all hate.
We've hated that
since the
Borrego 4 years.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that well. And hey, you know who's a really good player? Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez is a really good player.
He's one of the best defensive centers in the NBA.
And just an FYI, we drafted DJ Augustine over
Brook.
Yeah, I just want to.
That man has 6 blocks against us.
Yep.
And so PJ couldn't do anything.
And hit a 3 off one leg.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, they got Dame. Yeah. They're a championship contender.
Oh, I mean, Jesus Christ. They ain't talk about Dame. I mean, Dame just said, you know what? I'm tired of being closer with the Hornets. Let me just go be Dame real quick.
Right, yeah.
That's it. I want a player like that one.
Did Giannis even play?
He was out there.
I mean, he was dunking on cast and stuff, but I mean, it was like
it was the Dame show.
Yeah,
it was a Dame show. What point guard we got to guard him? Sorry, yeah, I know that was a little harsh. I'm sorry.
The New York game was disappointing because I feel like they could have been competitive with New York.
Yeah, but you can't let something called Dante DiVincenzo score his career high, which every damn random player
I'm going to give him credit because Brandon Miller was guarding him, and I think he was like, I'm not going to let this rookie show me up.
Yeah.
And he went out there and he played like an NBA player. That won't happen next season because Brandon Miller will be that much better. I'm going to give him some props for that.
And let's not forget that we let Jalen Brunson score like 26 points in the first half.
Yeah. That's what hurt us.
And let's also not forget that PJ Washington and Gordon Hayward go a combined 2 for 17 with 7 points.
Let me read the box plus minus. PJ Washington
negative 25.
Negative 25.
Good Lord, man.
LaMelo Ball negative 16.
Gordon Hayward negative 18.
You know, there were only 2 players in the plus. Bryce McGowan's
Miles Bridges.
And Miles Bridges. Let's talk about Miles.
Good segue, right? Miles look like he's been working on that jumper.
He gonna get paid. He gonna get paid.
Might not be by us. It should be, but
it should be. But he's an unrestricted free agent,
right?
And if he's playing, he continues to play like this.
Somebody's gonna
be like, "Hey,
boop.
What you trying to do? What you trying to do, Miles? You trying to stay over there with?
Trying to stay in Charlotte
with your boy?
Right.
I'm hoping that is like the fact that him and LaMelo are good friends is enough to kind of. And plus, also, this is a big thing. The Charlotte Hornets stood behind you
through your worst time.
Through all this.
Through your worst time.
Even the recent stuff, which I think is mostly kind of ended up, okay, it's kind of BS.
Right. It may be a bunch of nothing.
Right. Yeah. Apparently, there was some security footage of him actually running away from his
Right.
baby mama. You know, like so.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That's wild.
You know, the fact that the Hornets stood by you, and if he plays well, the Hornets. First of all, hedge fund owners, whatever Miles wants, if he averages anything over 20 points a game, just give it to him.
Just give it to him.
Right?
Make your splash.
Right.
Yeah.
That's your future. I mean, think about this, just on paper. LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams.
Right.
That's your core right there.
Not a bad core.
That's a really good
Not
young core.
Right.
Then you just put little shooters. Hey, stand in the corner and shoot. Not you, JT Thor. Move. Nick Smith Jr., you. Why is JT Thor on my TV every other night? Why is
I think when Nick Richards comes back, we won't see much of JT Thor anymore. Yeah.
By the way, someone did say Nick Smith Jr. Hey, Nick Smith Jr., let that man play.
Let him play. Great segue to whoever said that. So me and my friends were having a discussion about Mr. Teo Maledon, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I maybe I sounded like I was defending Teo Maledon, but what I was saying was the way NBA coaches kind of operate, they're typically not gonna sit a guy for struggling 2-3 games, right? Right, typically. But I think Steve Clifford reached the point where it was like, you know what? I've had enough. I can't play this dude anymore. Let's get Ish out there and let's see if Nick Smith Jr. can give me something. I think he finally just said, I've had enough of Teo Maledon.
I felt like Nick Smith Jr. in the minutes that he has got,
which has
been okay.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to learn. He's very raw, but I mean, I think the potential is there, and he wants to do good. Just don't let him be another James Bouknight. Mm-hmm. And I think he's got a better mentality than Bouknight. That was Bouknight's downfall.
Right.
When you fighting, literally physically fighting with your coach on the sidelines. Nah, that's
not gonna cut it, man.
That's not gonna cut it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe he'll probably be part of a trade package.
I believe so.
During the trade deadline. Because there are a lot of teams I think that would like to take a chance on.
Mm-hmm. They probably believe, hey, we can get more out of Bouknight than the Hornets did. So, yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know, man. I don't think this team is, like you said, devoid of talent.
It's just they don't know how to win.
Yes.
The details
they don't have any on-court leadership. And I always feel like complaining about refs is a bit of homerism, and so I don't like to do it. But the Hornets got to figure out a better way to manipulate the referees better.
Yeah.
Because other teams do it, and it works for them, and we don't get those calls.
And listen, I know I've been critical of LaMelo today, but LaMelo also probably gets the worst whistle in the NBA, man. The amount of times that he gets assaulted when he goes to the basket, man, it's mind blowing, dude. It really is, man.
Like you can hear the slaps.
You can hear it.
Or Mark Williams in the Knicks game.
Oh God, that one was so egregious.
It was so blatant.
It was so blatant, man.
Smacked him right on the arm. Pow!
Come on, man.
Refs just what's you know what I think? I've been saying this for years. The NBA refs are corrupt. They bet on those games.
Dale Curry, Eric Collins, stop being so damn nice about it, too, man.
They're too nice.
They so nice about it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like the referee he got a bad whistle. No, man.
Stop being professional. You guys are too professional.
That's fine. If y'all homers, it's okay.
You know what? We'll take care of it for you. NBA refs suck. What they do? They ain't gonna fine us. No.
Right. We don't have any money anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. If I'm Steve Clifford, I need to see somebody get ejected for doing something wild.
All right. You know why I think Steve Clifford doesn't go that far? And I don't know this for sure, but this is my opinion, man. Steve Clifford says a lot. This team has a small margin for error. And I think he wants to be the example hey, we can't lose our head and we got to stay focused because, again, there's a small margin for error, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why Steve Clifford doesn't, cross the line. He wants to be the example of let's stay calm and focus on what we have to do. But
yes, but I feel like you got
at some point
somebody got to show some fire.
Yeah.
Okay, for all
let an assistant take it, whatever. Somebody
for
man.
all the Draymond Green is a dirty player. Okay,
I'm sorry.
Right.
Real quick side note: the Draymond Rudy Gobert stuff is the most hilarious thing.
It is so funny.
But I digress. Go ahead.
But he's historically he's kind of a dirty player, right? So I understand why he ended up getting a 5-game suspension for something that I felt like wasn't even suspension worthy, headlocking someone. But because he's Draymond Green and he kicks people in the nuts and all kinds of stuff.
Bad.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what I loved about that?
Stick up for his guys.
Stick up for your guys.
Yeah.
Draymond, he gonna act crazy to fire his team.
Right.
Because it does. It fires them up. Yep. They're like, yo, okay,
Yeah.
We're gonna do this.
Yep.
No one on the Hornets does that.
Nobody does that.
Even Steve Kerr, who is like the most relaxed, he be getting that reps.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
I've never seen Steve Kerr that animated until he started coaching the Warriors.
Exactly.
Right.
So I need to, maybe because Steve Clifford's like, look, I'm old, I want to have a heart attack. I don't know, man.
Right.
Yes, staying calm ain't working. You gotta make Brandon Miller want to go to the trunk.
Oh shit.
I'm serious. You gotta be like, hey, B Miller, hey, you got that thing in the whip? Okay. That's what you gotta do. You gotta do something.
You gotta do something, man.
That's what it takes to win games.
Oh man.
All right, let's look at the Hornets schedule because it doesn't look.
Boy, it don't get any better.
It does not look good.
Yep, we are going to start off with an obligatory Boston Celtics home away game blowout.
So here's the schedule. We'll go just all the way to December. You got we're gonna. I don't know if you'll see us Thanksgiving weekend. You might.
Yeah.
Boston, Washington, Orlando, New York, Brooklyn, Minnesota. Do we win any of those games? Washington. We can beat Washington.
We can beat them.
We can't beat Boston.
No, that's obligatory blowout right there, bro.
Orlando, we can beat,
but it's tough.
But I don't think we will. Orlando's really good this season.
Yep, and we don't match up with them very well.
But I will say the Hornets need to have that game circled.
They do. They do.
That was the
that was the game. That was the game that ended Michael Jordan's ownership.
Yep. That was it.
Y'all might know what we're talking about, but just know Michael Jordan looked like he had enough at that game.
I'm hoping that somebody remembers Hans and Franz Wagner
punking us,
just going wild.
Yeah.
Circle that. New York, they could beat the Knicks,
but we just can't put it together for some reason.
The Knicks are a bit deeper.
Yeah,
and
they're a better team than they were last season. Yes. I'll give them props, man.
So that's gonna be tough. Yeah. Brooklyn is a better team.
Yeah.
They already beat us earlier this season. We can match up with them, but we needed 23 points from Terry Rozier to lose by 12. So I don't know. And then Minnesota. Woo, Minnesota look good.
They look good.
They look good.
They beat Boston last week.
Yeah, I don't think we beat Minnesota. And then after that, just to get you ready for Christmas, Miami, New Orleans, Philly.
Oh my God. So, you know that annual 10-game winning.
Wait, hold on. Through Christmas, Denver, LA, Phoenix. What is
the
draft? Let's talk about the draft.
There's nobody there. The end. Golly, man.
Yeah, we will probably get the number 1 pick, and it will be a weak draft with our luck. That would be our luck.
That's so Hornets. That's so Hornets.
Another Cody Zeller draft.
Yep. That schedule is brutal.
That's boy.
So what I was gonna say is, you know that annual 10-game losing streak that happens to us every year?
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Probably starting early this year.
It's coming.
It's probably starting a little early this year.
Here's the thing.
I guess the good news is we get it out the way.
I don't think the Hornets lose any of these games. It's not a brutal schedule because the Hornets are bad per se. It's because
the rest of the teams
are just better.
Good. Yeah, man.
I mean, we're not playing any soft teams in the stretch.
Nope.
Washington is the worst team that we play, and they've beaten us.
God, there's no Hawks, there's no Pacers, there's no Pistons who beat us, but you get what I'm saying.
Then after that, so LA, Phoenix, Denver, Sacramento. Sacramento's good. They'll beat us. Chicago. Sacramento, San Antonio, Miami, New Orleans, San Antonio, Philly, Minnesota.
Hey, don't sell. Don't sell us so short on Sacramento, because for some reason
we kind of got there now.
Yeah, for some reason we always win in Sacramento for some reason. So
this is a great point though by Queen City Hornets. I feel like we played our competition. That is true.
That's true. And that's been that way for at least 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah. The Hornets win the games they're not supposed to win.
Right.
So, but that San Antonio game on January 12th
you got to circle that one.
Oh, and it's on ESPN.
Come on.
So,
probably the only ESPN game we'll have.
Yeah, that's only – we
Gotta
only
circle
have
that one.
2 or 3, 4 national teams.
All right, so how many games before next week? 4?
We beat Washington. Boston, Washington. Boston, Washington is the only 2 games next week because it's Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then they play Sunday night, which you guys will probably be talking to us right before that game comes on at 6 p.m. We 1-1. We lose to Boston. I think we beat Washington.
Yep.
That's a home game. I feel like
Yep.
hopefully Terry is back by then, but
Yeah.
Miles Bridges coming back has made a difference.
It has. And we just got to put it
Miles
together,
Bridges
man.
has looked really good, so
Yeah. Got to put it together, though. And we need a complete game from everybody. Hey, just one thing. One more kick in the nuts real quick. How crazy is it that we had a Dallas home game in Charlotte today, and then tomorrow it's going to be a Boston home game?
Yeah. Rodney was at the game. Boy, you brave, bro.
Yeah, hey, man. So,
But he said that Cowboys fans were really they felt sorry for us. And they were like, Frank Wright should be fired.
whatever. I don't want their sympathy.
But you know what? It's funny. During the broadcast, they were talking about how good Dallas was.
Right.
And you could tell that they were thinking this. They didn't want to say it. This game doesn't prove anything.
Not the Dallas, no.
Because
No.
the Panthers are bad. They're the worst team in the league. Right?
No, Dallas should not come out of this game
in
thinking
fact,
they did something. Right.
The fact that you let it be that close
For that long.
for 3 quarters against the worst team in the league might be concerning. I mean, you still got to play. You'd have to get through San Francisco and Philly, to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that ain't happening, man.
Dallas fans, they're like, okay, this game is kind of fool's gold for them.
Yeah.
We'll end the sports talk with this until the Panthers do right by me. Nothing will go right. They got it. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay. It's the only thing I want to talk about before we go off the air. So now everyone is a damn flute.
Look, everybody
expert.
Has deep musical taste now.
Y'all wasn't listening to Lizzo play the flute. Y'all don't want to hear that. I'll just say this.
Oh, man.
I am glad Andre 3000 can branch out, which I feel like any artist in any musical genre should do.
If you're a real quote unquote artist musician
and touch other genres.
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
I don't need Andre 3000 to make a solo album. In fact, I don't even want him to, right? Because
real quick, Outkast has given us enough music for a lifetime, bro.
Yeah,
they don't owe us anything.
I'd rather go back and listen to 90s Outkast,
right,
and early 2000 Outkast anyway, right?
Right.
So I don't care about it.
However,
Andre 3000 released his album New Blue Sun, which it is not a flute album. Let me say that first of all. And I actually listened to it from beginning to end.
Did you fall asleep?
No, but that was only because I was doing something while I was doing it, right?
Right.
It was just, but I was intently listening to it.
Okay.
And I'll just say,
I like the way you said that. Yes.
I'll say this. I am not qualified or enough in that particular genre, ambient, soundscape, jazz, or whatever,
right,
to really make a qualified opinion on whether or not it's good,
right,
or not.
Right.
I'll just say it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you held a gun to my head, I would tell you I didn't think it was good, only because that style of music, there's no musical structure to it. For those of you that haven't listened to it, it's not the typical elements that we that we associate with musical structure. There's no structure.
There's no structure.
There's no
verse.
There's no tension. Chords don't resolve correctly.
Right.
also, there's no proficiency. I can't tell, is he good at playing this instrument? Because he doesn't do anything that would make you think, wow, he's really
genius.
good. Right, yeah, right. Wow, he's really good with the flute.
And listen, I'm not making a comparison. Let me be very, I hope I'm really, really, really clear when I say this, because it's going to sound like, oh, you just hating. No, I'm not. Let me be very clear. The first time I heard Jimi Hendrix play guitar, I said, wow, I can see why that guy's, I can understand why people say he is a genius when it comes to playing guitar. And I think what you're saying is, well, I don't hear proficiency and excellence.
And here's the thing, in
flute playing.
I do listen to a lot of music that has flute. I'm a big acid jazz fan. We'll get more to that in a second. But I listen to a lot of Incognito and brands of bands of that ilk that have heavy woodwind instruments. So I've heard one of my favorite flautists is Andy Ross, the flute player from the UK. He's played in a lot of stuff. Go listen to anything with Andy. In fact, go listen to Echoes of Utopia by Incognito off their album Search of Better Days.
There you go.
If you want to hear some goddamn awesome flute playing.
And my suggestion is go listen to any of Bobby Humphrey's albums.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But we digress. Go ahead. I digress.
But even having said that, if someone says, well, I liked it because I've liked it, vibed with it or whatever, okay, fine.
Or maybe you just liked it because it was 3 stacks doing anything. Right. Because listen, one more. How many times this weekend have I heard, man, Andre 3000 he could just whisper in the cup and I'm going to listen to it. So if you like it for that reason, that's fine. Right.
But what I don't want people to do.
Here we go. Here's the meat of the discussion.
Don't act like I'm some kind of music simpleton
because I don't like it.
Exactly. I can guarantee me and Jamal, we met through music.
Please don't come for us. Yes, talking about all
my musical styles are far more eclectic than the average average person. Right. So if I don't like it, I saw someone was like, they posted on Facebook, well, if you don't like the new Andre 3000 album, don't vibe on the same frequency. You goddamn right we don't. Because I like good music. You goddamn right.
That may be more insulting to the person who said it. Right.
Yes, Rodney Spa Day vibes. That's the album. Hey, if you like that, that's fine. But don't be pretentious about how you like it. Don't be like, and if you like that genre of music, that's fine. Keep it within your confined circle of people who like that genre of music.
Kaza and Rodney, if you're watching, let me make this about me real quick. I'm sorry to do this, but let me make this about me real quick. You know what somebody said to me this weekend? Man, you don't like evolving in a different form. For those of you who know Jamal Darby, for those of you who know me, the guy who listens to everything from Mobb Deep to Led Zeppelin.
Jamal Darby is at every music event in Charlotte. If it's some music going on, genre depends. In fact, when's the last time you went to a hip hop?
I don't know.
I can't remember the last time I actually went to any hip hop music event in Charlotte.
I'm going, okay, real quick. This is a perfect segue, man. I like how this happened. Okay, next Saturday there is a gentleman by the name of Yusef Days who is coming to Neighborhood Theater next Saturday. Now, y'all may not know who Yusef Days is, which is fine. I'm not trying to be pretentious about it. I love Yusef Days because he is a true instrumentalist. He plays the drums, he plays guitar, he sings a little bit. Sing's not his real thing, but he's a real instrumentalist. Okay, you get it.
Right, yeah.
I'm going to see him next week. All right. So the person who said to me, oh man, you don't know how to evolve into anything different. That's just an example of the stuff I like. If you think that, get out of here, man. Just again, stop with the pretentious bullshit. Yeah, that's it.
And it's okay. It's okay to say that art is bad. That is one thing I've noticed that please. It is okay. People are so afraid of offending someone. Okay.
You know whose fault that is? That's Puff Daddy's fault. You know why? Because he went on the, don't be a hater campaign, which no, you're not supposed to be a hater, but you can, it's totally okay to say, I don't think that song is good.
You remember, okay. Prince is one of the greatest musicians.
Widely considered as the greatest musician of all time.
I mean, he's almost in a class by himself,
Right.
essentially.
Right.
Y'all remember when he tried to be a rapper? It was terrible, right?
It was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Everyone knew it was bad.
It was
he
bad.
had 2 good songs, Get Off,
Right.
Sexy MF.
Yep.
Everything else
was bad.
Was garbage.
Yep.
It was just bad, right? And
right.
then he was done with that phase in his life, and he went
He
back to
on.
make good music, right?
Remember? Well, we may not remember because either we were not born or we were babies. But Stevie Wonder came out with an album called The Secret Life and the Journey of Plants. Everybody canned that album. You know why? Because Stevie didn't sing on it. Yes. It was a total just instrumental album.
I thought that album was
to me, it's great. Wonderful. It's awesome to me. Yeah. But everybody else hated it. You know why? Because Stevie wasn't singing on it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Exactly. Yeah. And I do want to touch on this comment. Hold on. Lil Yachty.
Hip hop is in a bad place.
Bro, you the reason.
I wonder who contributed to that.
You the reason.
Okay. Here's some context. Okay. Lil Yachty actually came out with I don't know the name of the album, but it was something that was far different than anything he's come out with. Okay. Now, I'm gonna try to be fair about this, because I think
I listened to it.
Listen, and like I know, sometimes artists are held captive by record companies.
Yes.
It is totally possible that album represents who Lil Yachty really is.
That's true. Yeah.
As opposed to the garbage he made before. Yep. That's totally possible. I don't know that for sure. With all that being said, the optics of you saying, oh man, hip hop is in a bad place.
Bro. I heard Cold Like Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota. That song was offensive to me. It should be offensive to everyone that lived in Minnesota. That's all I have. I mean, so I'm glad you brought up that Lil Yachty album, because I remember people having essentially the same reaction that they're having to Andre. I vibe with it. It was a good vibe. Right. No, it wasn't good. Just say it wasn't good.
But like you said, people are afraid to
say are.
It's not good because it's going to come off like you're hating.
Yeah, no, hate on it.
Dude, listen. Here's Jamal Music Nerd coming out. The best jazz artists that y'all have ever heard of. Do you know how competitive they were at the height of the Renaissance era and making of jazz? Do you know how competitive and judgmental all your favorite jazz artists were?
They hated Herbie Hancock when he started making synth jazz. Hated this. We're talking about a dude who played with the greats. He played with Miles. He played with Art Blakey. He played with all those guys.
A genius.
And they hated him. They were
like, what is this new wave?
Yeah,
what is this new spin he's putting on jazz? It's okay to say I don't like it's okay to say something's not good, man. It's totally okay, man.
It's all right. That's why there's no more diss records in rap no more, because people are afraid to call each other whack.
You remember when Ice Cube was like the whack police? Like if you came out with something whack and you was trying to go pop, like Ice Cube was on your ass. Boy, you done flip flop trying to call that hip hop. Remember that? Remember Ice Cube? I miss those days, man.
Ooh, this is a good point. We're at the point where it's almost going to be impossible to make a 100% original song anymore. That's part of the problem with today's music. I believe that is true, but part of music has always been taking
inspired by something,
right? Music and just changing.
Right.
I mean,
okay,
there's only 12 notes,
so here
you can play. So
all right, look, we can go a whole nother show talking about that, but let me say this really quickly, man. There's a fine line between like being influenced by music and being influenced by whatever versus just blatantly ripping something off. I actually believe, and this is old grumpy Jamal talking, but I actually believe like the younger generation don't listen to enough of the heads and the old before them to really get influenced and to add depth to the music that they're making. Because my main criticism for like the music that comes out these days is that there's no depth.
Right.
Even when it's technically good. There's no depth.
This is maybe the main thing that bothers me about the Andre 3000 album is everyone is like, there's going to be some dope samples coming from it. And there could be, but and as much as I love sampling, because I use sampling in a lot of my production,
right.
I feel like sampling is such an important piece of music, especially
hip-hop
and electronic music.
Right.
But that's such a shallow layer.
Yeah. And you still, and there's still very much an art form on how to do that.
Instead of sampling, have you ever thought, well, why don't I just use that chord progression, but then add these elements to it?
And that's the type of thinking you need. Right. Instead of blatantly just
because that's how you expand your musical palette instead of just saying, ooh, I'm going to take that and chop it up.
Yeah.
Well, okay, people have been doing that for 40 years, but can you do something? That's where original music comes from. And I think that's why the music doesn't sound original anymore, because people are using now the techniques are easier. I mean, you can buy the new MPC1. I mean, it will sample for you, like literally.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I digress. Rodney's right. We're just old,
grumpy,
music guys.
That's it, man. We just hate everything.
Yep. I hate the Panthers. I hate the Hornets.
I definitely hate them right now.
Music. I hate video games. I hate
Madden. Madden sucks.
God, man, Madden. I don't even. The Panthers are so bad. I don't even like playing Madden anymore because I'll just win with them, and I'm like,
you know how I know Madden sucks because the Panthers are actually good on Madden. Yeah,
Bryce Young is balling on Madden. It's like because I know I'm like, this ain't real.
This ain't real. This doesn't resemble real football.
I got DJ Chark with like 2,300 yards.
I got Miles Sanders leading the league in rushing. Yeah, like, come on, man.
No.
Yeah. But what do we know?
This is what we're gonna end it on. I saw a TikTok with a kid from NYC and he didn't know DMX. You know what?
That's a parenting failure.
Call people out.
Yeah,
call them out.
That's a parenting failure.
Call them out for being whack. Just do it.
Just do it. That is a parenting failure.
All right. Well, do we have any shout outs? Shout.
Man.
Anything positive?
Shout out to my UConn Huskies, because I only say that because like between them and Florida State, who lost their damn quarterback probably for the year, there's only two teams I have that actually wins. So shout out to them. I do have one. I do have a closing remark, I should say. My closing remark is this: there is a monthly event in Charlotte called Sukasa. Sukasa was started in one of my very good friends' apartment building. Mm-hmm. Sukasa was a place for very eclectic, non-hip-hop music.
Everyone listens to Andre 3000, but I never seen him.
But I never. Right. All y'all who told me that I should listen to the Three Stacks album never went to Sukasa. But I digress. Anyway, Sukasa has been an institution for independent music lovers who love house, Afrobeat, soul music, whatever pot of music you want to put that into. And the last Sukasa is going to be next Saturday, which is a very, very sad day for me personally, because I love Sukasa. I love the energy. I love the energy of the crowd, the people, the music. Shout out to DJ Justice. Shout out to Fraser. Shout out to Steel Will. Shout out to Jay Ziatic. All Petras, everybody who made Sukasa the institution that it was. Maybe y'all have never heard of it, but I promise you, the people who are regulars at Sukasa, this is a big deal. It's going to be severely missed.
I think it'll come back
in some form.
Yeah,
it may not be Sukasa, but it'll be something else. But just sad day for Sukasa, man. I'm looking forward to going next week.
While Rodney put the old head icon in the chat.
Hey, look, Rodney, man. Look, me and Kaz are too old to be listening to trap music and smoking hookahs and whatever.
We was listening to DJ Quick
before the show.
Dollars and cents for the show, because that's how we was feeling. One of the greatest diss tracks ever. Somebody out there make maybe let's do that now. We'll go in the studio right there, make a David Tepper diss track.
Let's put that on the table. I can't do that today, but let's put that on the table.
Rodney, I know Rodney want to get in the booth, so hey, I know you got some bars for David Tepper. Somebody,
I'll come up with something, man.
Something.
Yeah,
I'll go at Nicole too.
Oh boy, that sounds like trouble.
Yeah, construction will be off the air forever.
Right. You got any shout outs, man? Shout out.
I'm trying to think of something positive, but it's
Ain't nothing going on.
Negative,
ain't nothing positive going on around here, bro.
Just a cloud of negativity in the Charlotte region.
Yeah.
Bro. Something.
I don't know, man.
See, I'm gonna think of something right when I click in stream. I'm be like, oh man, we should have said that. We should have said that, but I can't think of nothing.
I can't think of it
because it's just all trash in Charlotte. They building some more apartments somewhere. Congratulations on that, I guess. So okay. Right down this, I don't know which way you come to my house, but they're building new apartments. Like, why? This. Okay, now actually, I'm gonna give a shout out to the Charlotte Observer. Actually,
okay,
all right. Now I haven't given a shout out to them in like 25 years.
What's going on with them?
Because they're a garbage ass publication. But somebody on some fucking website, we're gonna bring this up. Wrote an article. Charlotte is a nice city, but Charlotte is a nice city, but
I gotta critique us real quick. That is a blunder. We didn't talk about that today. Yeah. But let's try to fit this in real quick, man. Yeah.
The article was Charlotte is a nice city, but it's no New York. And it was essentially
no shit, Sherlock. But go ahead, man.
But essentially it was a kind of article that New Yorkers write about Charlotte,
right?
Even though they move here
in droves
because they don't like
in droves,
New York, right?
In droves.
So the Charlotte Observer released a rebuttal,
right?
That
Shout out to Charlotte Observer,
said New York is a nice city, but it's no
Charlotte,
exactly. Right? So
let's go Charlotte Observer.
So if you don't like it here, you free to go back.
There are like, hey, look, man,
to the land of
77 turns into 81. That'll get you to upstate New York. Yep. 85 turns into 95. That'll get you to the city.
Now you're gonna have to pay about $400 in tolls before you get there. But since y'all like it so much up there, that's what
it's so easy to get back. It's so easy to get back.
Just go. They probably listen to Andre 3000 album on the way.
Okay. You know what? One more thing. I promise. We're gonna wrap this up. One more thing. I read that article. You know the one thing that pissed me off about the article? Oh, what is there to do in Charlotte? Oh, there's breweries. A part of that is true, but I hate when people just assume, oh, there's nothing to do in Charlotte. No, there is stuff to do in Charlotte. Just people don't look for things to do in Charlotte. You don't want to do things in Charlotte.
As much as I chuckle at the fact that Charlotte is the epicenter of brewery culture in the United States. Right. But hey, that's our thing, okay?
Right, whatever. So our thing, there's worse things to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all right. So people here like breweries. Great. That's as far as I'm concerned, it's helping the economy and it's putting the city on the map. Right, that's all right. Good. Right. Sorry. So is that all you got?
Right.
Like we got breweries. Y'all have rats the size of Sir Purr. Like on the subway.
Y'all are
literally you be on the subway and it's a rat on the.
Y'all are paying $2,800 to live in closets. I don't just shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
That's why you moved down.
That's why you moved here. Shut up. I don't hear it. Anyway.
All right, here's what we're going to end the show on for real. Shout out to Skeleton Jack. Even though I blocked him a while ago, I'm sure he's skeleton. Queen City Hornets. So the only reason for those of you who don't know, in the Charlotte Hornets Facebook group, I hate to give that much attention to one person, but
he asked for it.
Yeah. There's a guy in the group named Skeleton Jack. I don't know who this guy really is. I just know that
it's probably one of our friends.
Yeah, he hates Brandon Miller. He has hated Brandon Miller ever since Brandon Miller was in college. He hated this guy. And when we picked him, even now, he's weird because Brandon Miller will have a killer game and he'll come out and be like, okay, I was wrong about Brandon Miller. And then Brandon Miller will be like, okay, and he'll be like, I knew Brandon Miller was ass this whole time.
So hot and cold.
So it's just funny that because he was silent as hell about Brandon Miller yesterday when Brandon Miller was lighting up the Knicks. He was like, is Skeleton Jack. He's Queen City Hornets.
Hot and cold.
He's my skeleton.
Before we go, and we don't do this enough, for anybody that is new out there, for new and old viewers, man, again, thank y'all, man. Me and Kaza, we do this for y'all.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it was like if it wasn't for this show, I would not have watched the game today.
I would have fell asleep on the game for one for y'all, man. But again, if you like the show, if you do actually like what me and Kaza do, like, share, subscribe.
Do all
we
that
on
stuff.
Twitter, we on Instagram.
So here's the thing, I know most of our viewers are on Facebook. go to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And
that helps us out more.
There. That actually helps us out a lot more.
We don't honestly, we're not on Instagram as much, but I mean, follow us if you want to, man. Yeah, no doubt.
Maybe we should be.
Yeah.
Are we ever gonna do the call in?
I suck. I promise you, the next show we do live, I will activate it. I promise.
All right.
I promise.
Speaking of the next show we do live, we might do one next week. Now, I know next week is Thanksgiving weekend.
Just to let real quick, Kaiser, I don't care about holidays anymore.
I don't either. So I mean, Thanksgiving's on a Thursday and that's Sunday.
I'm available. Just
right. Yeah. So I mean, I should be available. I know that a lot of our viewers might, but maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we feel.
No doubt.
What are you eating for Thanksgiving?
I'm cooking myself a big ribeye steak.
Oh, yes.
And buying some shrimp and a big old glass of wine and enjoying my day. I mean, unless, if you was inviting me somewhere.
Yeah, I think I might fry some turkey wings this year.
Okay.
Like instead of chicken wings, we might get some turkey wings and fry them and see how that goes. I'll let you know.
Let me know, man.
Also, Firehawk. I'm gonna give a shout out to Firehawk. They're doing Thanksgiving Day specials.
Nice.
Like if you don't want to cook, you can just go to Firehawk and you get like a whole family special for like $100. Like it feeds 4 and.
Hey, can I say something? Hey, okay. I went to Firehawk Wednesday, right? Mm-hmm. And I got the 6 ribs. Mm-hmm. Kaiser, I don't know what Scott did, but the ribs got better.
Scott Blackwood is always. I mean, Firehawk is his passion.
Right. No doubt. He's very passionate about it.
This is like his life's work. He's put everything, almost literally, not just figuratively, literally into this restaurant. And every day he is trying to. They've changed the menu like 3 or 4 times, but not drastic changes. Small tweaks to make it better. Mm-hmm. And yes, every time you go there, everything gets better. His daughter Natasha is the pit boss there, and she's gotten better at it, and so they're constantly improving. You guys go get Firehawk.
Dog, those ribs were banging. Yes. You hear me?
Yeah. Yes, him and Rib Man gonna have to do a rib off.
Yeah, no doubt.
We might have to do it on air.
Right. We might have to sponsor a rib off. No doubt.
Yeah. We'll do that.
No doubt.
I would be biased though, because Scott's my boy.
Right, no doubt.
But Rib Man, Charlotte.
We love Rib Man too, man.
Yeah. So shout out to both of them. So, all right, we're gonna get out of here. You guys have a great Thanksgiving holiday, regardless of how you celebrate. Just enjoy your time off if you have time off. If you don't have time off, find some time for yourself, okay?
And meditate off the Dre 3000 album.
Put on that new Blue Sun. Feel the vibes. Feel like you're eclectic now.
Feel like you're deep after you
listen to it. You can talk to other people about music that you don't know shit about.
Let's get out of here.
Don't talk to me about no damn flute.
You just ain't evolved in
you're right. Man. I just listen to Mobb Deep and DJ Quick and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, all I do is listen to this gangster shit and bang my head all day.
All day.
Yep. All right, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Take care. Ed Stern. Peace to Skeleton Jack. Hope he has a good Thanksgiving. Hope that brother's doing